Seven Pines. What do we have here? Is it Line of Battle? No, it is the CWBS, the Civil War Brigade Series, brought to us by the gamers. So most of you know that I am a Line of Battle buff. That's what I like to play mostly. I spent a lot of time playing that, messing around with it, posting videos about it. But I've had the pleasure of getting involved with the CWBS here recently. A little bit of LOB burnout maybe. Just wanted to switch things up. And I was able to acquire Seven Pines. Got a killer deal on the Wargamers Marketplace for this and two of its companion games, Malvern Hill and Gaines Mill. So with those three games, I can actually set up and play the entire 7 days battles if I want to. Now, as you can see, I'm somewhat restricted for space in the Wargaming Lounge here. So that won't be happening unless I put it on the floor, because that thing would be like this freaking big. This is just two maps. But yeah, the ability to someday potentially play that monster, it's there. I could always vassal it now. But I'm pretty excited. I never, when I got into board gaming, was for any reason particularly struck by the CWBS. I've always been a Civil War fan as a little kid. I guess fan's not the right word. Intrigued and entertained by learning about it as a little kid. But for some reason, when I started getting into wargaming, World War II was always my jam. So SCS, loved playing those games. They were easy. Games like A Victory Denied, A Victory Lost, those type things. Line of Battle came along. I got hooked and addicted to that. And now I think it's time to give CWBS its due. This I'm playing solo, but I've had the great enjoyment of playing Champion Hill on Vassal with my Uncle John here recently. We played a scenario that was maybe 24, 25, 26 turns or so, and had a great time with it. One thing that I will say I really am enjoying about the CWBS are the amount of options that you get with each individual game. So being at the brigade scale, you're zoomed out more than you would be at the regimental scale. If you're going to cover the Battle of Seven Pines at the regimental scale, your map's probably going to be like this big. Because instead of being at 200 yards, these are all going to be at 110. The thing about CWBS is it allows a designer to throw out all these variants and what ifs. So, for instance, right now I'm playing 5.4, the Battle of Seven Pines, which is the historical battle. But within the game-specific rules, I can go in here and say, okay, let's mix it up a little bit. Let's make Longstreet better as a what if, and let's say Magruder's division is in play. So I can game things that are hypothetical. And that's what Uncle John and I did in Champion Hill. It was a hypothetical. Instead of the limitations given for the historical battle, we were potentially able to add Johnston's Army of Relief, which didn't show up, thankfully for me. Sherman's Corps, one division showed up. That was pretty cool. I like that there's a lot of replayability, it seems, with these games. Champion Hill's a very small game. Great intro. I think we picked the right game to play to get us hooked. It's maybe, if you split this puppy in half, it's maybe only that big, even if that big. But the other thing that I noticed right off the bat with the CWBS is the way the victory conditions are set up. So I know a lot of these games are Dave Powell's design. I've played This Terrible Sound, that's his. I've played scenarios from A Fearful Slaughter, that's his. Great stuff, love those games. I know there's some people who shy away from the victory point stuff, A lot of so if you look at Last Chance for Victory or to take Washington, the recent line of battle game that came out, or None But Heroes, those victory conditions are a little more vague and less discrete as numbers. They're not victory points. Whereas here, most of these games, from what I've been reading, the game-specific rules, you're going to be getting victory points for two things: casualties for wrecked brigades, and you're going to be awarded victory points for holding specific geographic locations on the map. I like that because in our hypothetical play at Champion Hill, it allowed us to do things maybe that weren't historical, and those geographical locations force us to obviously try to, we're going to butt heads somewhere because we're both going for those locations. Don't know where I was going with that. A little bit of a ramble. Anyways, so Seven Pines more specifically is pretty cool. This is a cool game. I really like what comes in the box here. Here's the rosters. So you can see those are all the counters that could potentially be in play for the Battle of Seven Pines. Magruder is an optional. I'm not using him here. You get, I think there's 5 scenarios that cover the Battle of Seven Pines. We're playing the historical one. The other cool thing is if you want to pull out the map for Gaines Mill, you can play Savage Station, which was a battle fought during the 7 days. Now, I'm not very keen on the 7 days, but I will say Dave Powell does a heck of a job in the designer notes, kind of outlining the synopsis of the battle, giving a little bit of his opinion on why things happened the way they did, discussing some of the options. Okay, well, what if Longstreet wasn't a bum during this battle? What if Jackson wasn't acting like he could barely move and function because he was apparently super duper tired from marching super duper far? I like those things. It's cool. The other thing that I am finding very interesting about the CWBS, coming from an LOB background, that's another thing. I assume anybody that watches these videos that I put up likes Line of Battle. You're not going to watch these videos if you don't like Line of Battle, because that's pretty much all I talk about. That might change just because we'll add a little bit of variance to our wargaming discussions. But I bet you that a lot of the people that are into Line of Battle came from the Civil War Brigade Series. I'm one of those people that never had previously played a Civil War Brigade Series, so I'm kind of doing it backwards. There's definitely a lot of improvements, I think, that have been taken from what's happening here and brought to Line of Battle. Streamlining is the key word. Some people think that word's a little bit taboo, maybe because it means that there's less chrome or interesting things to it. I disagree. One thing that I've noticed with the combat system here is it's definitely a little bit more fiddly. It doesn't feel as clean. On the opposite end, I love the way the orders are done. I think it's unique, it's interesting, it's a little more in-depth. If we look at this little handy-dandy cheat sheet that my Uncle John cooked up, you'll see that there's a lot more steps. Delay reductions, orders can arrive and the commanders just sit on them. Line of Battle does all of this combined into one phase with the command rules, which I think is a better way of doing it, but there's nothing really wrong with this. It's just different. I like the way it feels. Uh-oh. Everybody. Uh-oh. So, when we're talking about that, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I think the command system works perfectly fine in this series. I think it's exemplified in this game too. So the situation here with Seven Pines is we start off with a Confederate division under D.H. Hill that's situated kind of in these woods right here. The Union have a division under Silas Casey, which is located, they can kind of start anywhere in here. D.H. Hill's under orders to move this way, attack. He wants to take 7 pines, keep moving this way. And the Union are going to be somewhat reactive to what he's doing. So you'll notice here, D.H. Hill's been engaged for about 5 turns. We have a routed brigade back here, Nagel. We have a wounded divisional leader, so Casey was actually wounded. And we've got another messed up brigade down here, Wessels. When we look at the sheets, you'll see that those guys are pretty gnarled up. Opposite of them, D.H. Hill's division, they're faring a little better, but they've taken some licks too. The command system has not allowed me to get Huger's division, nor Longstreet's right wing, which is basically Anderson's division, which is split into 2 locations, or Whiting's division on the move. So Whiting actually starts under delayed orders, and he's rolling D2, so delay 2, which means he's going to have to roll a 1 during his command phase to even be able to accept these orders to move in here and attack. Huger's under delay as well. He refused to accept the orders when they were arriving to him, and Longstreet refused to accept the orders as well. So if we look at these leaders, Huger's a 2. Longstreet sucked at this battle, apparently. He's a 0. Smith is a 0, and Whiting's a 2. Those are not super fantastic ratings. Johnston's a 1. All of these ratings go into the little formula up here, and you determine your acceptance. They're under delay. These guys can sit here all game, and nothing can happen. If that happens, D.H. Hill's going to get annihilated, because we've got guys from 3rd Corps, Kearney's division, coming up. They're going to be on their flank moving down. We've got Sumner's Corps moving on map, along with all these guys who are going to be filtering down and through here. Hooker's division is yet to arrive, but he'll be moving down through here. And Heinzelman has just arrived on map. So these guys are going to be in trouble if these guys don't accept their orders, which are going to be to move up here. These guys are under orders to get on the 7 Mile Road and support him, and these guys are under orders to move down this road to take Fair Oak Station and move down to Orchard Station. It's a pretty interesting situation. I think it works really, really well solo, just because there's a ton of variables with the order system of when people are going to accept, how early do they accept, can they even accept. It's a lot of fun. And we'll see what happens here. So I'm enjoying it. I just thought I'd share that I'm playing something new, and we'll see what happens. See you guys.